Hey guys, what's up? In this episode of Lady K Sailing, we get out of the Carolinas via the Dismal Swamp, so we're going to do some locks. We meet the Coast Guard, and then we meet the Virginia Beach Police Department. And in this episode, we're going to tell that crab pot story, so stay tuned.
Come on and weigh the anchor, we're casting off the line. We're about the destination, the journey is divine. Welcome to the story of living our boat life. We're doing it our own way on Lady K. We're sailing away on Lady K.
We left off last time where RJ and I did a huge Hail Mary all day, all night passage out in the ocean to avoid the Georgia and South Carolina ICW. So today you join us coming into Wrightsville Beach after that massive passage. Yeah, look at the washing machine. Confused seas. Very confused. I know you can't see it on the camera. It never does it justice, but believe me, it's weird. Outgoing tide, incoming big rollers from the ocean. This gets really whitecappy. Get a lot of tide rips that pull the bow back and forth, like just violently. All of a sudden the boat will go hard over 45 degrees to the right. You gotta fight it. Alright guys, we got some fuel here in Morehead City, and I think we're gonna split. We did 132.5 miles in 24 hours. Not too shabby. And we even slept a little bit. Pretty good. But we're going to finish that 132 miles off by doing another 20 miles because very conveniently Oriental, North Carolina is very close to here. It's only 20 miles away. And I didn't get to go there on my way down because it was sort of in between two stops. But this time we'll actually be able to see it. And everybody says it's very beautiful and it's a very must-see thing when you're doing the ICW on the US East Coast is Oriental. So I think we're just going to bang out the 20 miles and go see Oriental, and then when we get there, we'll chill out, relax. It'll be early afternoon when we get there. Relax, have some food, and then get a really good night's sleep. And then tomorrow we'll hit the road again. Let's go see Oriental. Hey guys, so I know we kind of make the ICW look like it's a lot of hitting bottom and a lot of storms and a lot of really evil stuff, and it's really stressful, but it's not really all like that. Once you get up to North Carolina, actually the Beaufort, North Carolina area, the ICW goes inland for several miles. So the ocean is like way over there somewhere on the other side of a bunch of land. So there's not really any tide in here. It's a no wind day. This is the Neuse River. We're in the inland section of the ICW. So this is still technically the ICW, but there's a whole bunch of lakes in this section, and that makes up the ICW. So it's not just some ditch with very, very shallow depths. It's really beautiful. It kind of sucks that we have no wind and we have to motor all day, but we could use a day off. So it's been autopilot. We've been going for, I don't know, two and a half hours now. We left at 6:30 this morning. And it's just pure autopilot. So let me show you what the day looks like. RJ's inside. He's shaving and doing some inside sort of chores. I'm actually working on the next episode. It's my office for the day. The autopilot's doing its thing. I'm keeping half an eye on the navigation equipment to make sure that we don't go off course, but ultimately this is our day. And since my job is to make YouTube videos, best day at work ever. Pretty cool. So amidst the storm rolling in, US Coast Guard just flies up behind us. He's right here. Anyway, flies up behind us at the midst of the storm, turns the cherries on, pulls up beside us. He's like, when's the last time you were boarded by the US Coast Guard? And I said, never have been. And he said, okay, we're gonna board you right now. And I said, how about we get to the dock first, because this big storm is not good for me and my mast and lightning. And he's like, yeah, okay, we'll meet you at the dock. So we're gonna try to film it. We'll see if we get away with it. They turned around. Anyway, it's just like a bunch of kids. And now they turned around and now they're powering up. But I told him I'd be on 1-6 if he needs me, and I'm going to the Elizabeth City dock. So I imagine he might be by later to, I don't know, board us. He said safety inspection, so I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, he's getting on it now, he's leaving. To date, in all my travels, I've never been boarded by law enforcement or the Coast Guard or anybody. They've never even pulled us over, never pulled alongside, never given us a second look. But this guy seemed pretty adamant about getting on board. But he did take my sort of refusal due to the storm and getting to the dock and the aluminum mast and the lightning. He took it pretty well and he said, yeah, okay, go ahead. So I'm sure we haven't seen the last of him. All right, guys, welcome to Elizabeth City. Right here. Beautiful. They got free docks downtown, so we're gonna try to figure out which dock is free. They are a back-in slip. I've never backed into a slip in my whole life, so if we're gonna back in, let's hope I can nail it. And we got like quite a bit of cross breeze, like 12 knots or so. Should be fun. All right, guys, we have arrived. Great Dismal Swamp, check this out. It is just gorgeous in here. We got a little breeze, so it's not too hot. We're plowing the frog grass out of the way. Oh, it's like soup. Driving through soup. Leaving a cut behind us. Pretty cool. I love this place. I know a lot of people don't come in here, but I absolutely love this place. I think it's absolutely stunning. Beautiful. I would suggest, like, if you have an opportunity to go down the Dismal, just do it. It's 2 days of absolutely beautiful everything. So anyway, this is what it looks like. It is a gorgeous day. It's 85 degrees. We're in a gorgeous place. What else can you ask for? I mean, love it. Very relaxing trip too down the Dismal. Typically you do it in 2 days. You stay at the halfway point, the visitor center, or the little dock just beyond it. Nowhere else I'd rather be in the world right now. I can tell you that for sure. Okay, well, talk about close quarters. We're tied up though, and the bow is just about as close. Never tied up like this before. Like dolphins on the bow and on the stern. Completely, just the boat just fits in between them. They must be, I don't know what, with the anchor and everything, we're a bit longer than 35, so they must be like 37 feet apart. We are right on them. But anyway, we're good. We're secure, we're safe. We're not banging into anything, and we're not hitting ground. And even though the shore is right here, we're still reading 16 feet right here, so doesn't look like it. But it's good. Ooh, it's hot. Ooh. South Mills Lock, South Mills Lock. This is sailing vessel Lady K.
Affirmative, Captain. I'm kind of southbound. I'm not sure whether it's going to be the 130 or the 330. I have to wait. So I've got the chamber full, or I would allow you to just come in and wait. But hang on, just hang loose.
Yeah, we'll be right here on the Dolphins. Thank you. All right, guys, we're tied up at the Dismal Swamp Visitor Center Rest Area. Dismal Swamp Visitor Center Rest Area. Nice little spot. There's nobody else here. This big old dock. You could probably get like 3 of our boat long, and then you're allowed to raft up as well, as deep as you want, as long as you don't block the whole channel. So nice little spot, real nice. They have restrooms inside, but they don't have showers, so I just had a shower with the solar shower, which was extraordinarily hot. But I feel much better. It's very hot today. It's probably 90 degrees. Anyway, we're gonna go check this place out. Hey guys, all right, we are just after 5:30 in the morning. Got up early and I cleaned the strainer out because of all that, I think it's called duck grass, all the little green things that float on top of the surface. So cleaned that out. It was actually not too bad. And now we are headed for the Virginia border, which is here on the Dismal Swamp. I'll show you guys as we go by. All right guys, we're just approaching the lock now, and again, we're just gonna do it absolutely dead slow to make sure that we have total control of the boat the whole time. Just fast enough that we have steering, slow enough that we don't have to use reverse to get her to stop. Alright guys, we're coming into Norfolk now, the industrial area. We got a big tug right behind us. Those guys run on channel 13 around here, so I've got the handheld on 13, I got the base station on 1.6. Been talking to him on 13 and offered to let him go around, but he said, no, I'm just gonna hang out behind you. He's trying not to push it too hard, and he's got a lot of weight on his barge, so yeah, I guess he'll just be following us for a while. Anyway, we'll be into the military section in Norfolk pretty soon, which is really cool. Get some good video for you guys there. The police presence in Norfolk is pretty overwhelming. You've got Coast Guard, you've got local police, and you've got military police all over the place. And we got a little bit of a scare as a Virginia Beach police rib flew up behind us. He didn't have the lights on or anything, but he was definitely and deliberately flying up toward Lady K. But it turned out he didn't really want to pull us over. He yelled to RJ, I was in the cabin, and he yelled to RJ, hey, is Tim on board? And RJ was like, yeah. So I came out of the cabin, and lo and behold, it was actually a YouTube follower. So it was really cool. We weren't actually getting pulled over. He just came over to say hi and give us some advice on anchoring and stuff like that. So thanks for stopping by. Alright guys, welcome to a brand new segment on Lady K Sailing, where I am going to answer the top YouTube questions from last week's episode. Hopefully be able to interact with you guys a little bit more and give you some answers to some of the questions that get asked the most. So this week we've got 3 questions, and they're 3 very common questions that I get. So let's get started. So from Mark, and this is a very common question, a very good question, Mark. What percentage of time do you spend sailing versus motoring? That's really dependent on what you're trying to accomplish. When you're in the Bahamas and you don't really have anywhere to go or any timeline or anything like that, you can sail all day, every day. And if there's no wind, you can just sit still and, you know, whatever. You got no deadlines. Right now, I'm spending a ton of time motoring because I do have a deadline that we're actually going to talk about in one of these questions coming up. I have to get somewhere. And because I have to get somewhere, I can't always sail. So I'm probably 75 to 90% motoring for the next like month. It is what it is. It looks like I've got some good sailing weather coming up, so we'll see what happens. But it really depends on you. Are you trying to get somewhere, or are you just relaxing and bombing around? When I'm relaxing and bombing around, I don't run the diesel at all, but that's not the case right now. Next question, and I get this one a ton. Since Candace left, a lot of people have asked why I don't rename the boat. This example is from Bruce. Very good question, but I think there's some misunderstanding and maybe some confusion about the name of this boat. Candace's name starts with a C, not a K. Lady K was not named after Candace. Lady K was called Lady K when I got her. I didn't name her Lady K, the previous owner did, or whoever it was that did. I really like the name, it stuck. I don't personally believe in renaming a boat unless you absolutely have to. If it was a really terrible name I didn't like, I probably would have, but I like the name Lady K. So the YouTube channel sort of followed suit. It wasn't my thing. I have no interest in renaming the boat. I really like the name. It has nothing to do with Candace or anything personal in any way. It's just what the boat was called. Next question, Joey. I get this one a lot too recently because I'm like speeding and bombing north as fast as I can. What are you going to do after Canada? Well, so my plan right now is I have a customs issue. I can only spend a year in the US, and my year is almost up. So I've got to go set foot in Canada for at least 15 days so that I can get another year in the US. So that's the only plan as I know it right now. Just keep on sailing, brother. That's sort of the plan, and that's what I want to do with my life. I want to keep doing what I'm doing, but I have to go back and I have to deal with a customs issue, and it makes sense for me to go back. I think I'm just going to go up the Erie Canal, jump over to the bottom of Ontario, get my 15 days in. It gives me an opportunity to do a bunch of other sort of clerical junk that I have to do, renew my license and all that stuff. It gives me an opportunity to get those things done, and then after that, I have a couple of months to sort of figure it out. Do I want to go up the coast, down the coast? Maybe down through the Mississippi and down toward sort of the Gulf area? I don't know. If you guys have any ideas or any requests, let me know. I'm kind of an open book at this point. I don't know what to do, and if you guys have suggestions, I'm going to take them pretty seriously. So anyway, that's the top 3 YouTube questions I've got in the last like 2 weeks or so. If you have a question that you want answered, go ahead and throw it down in the comments, and I will try to get to it. Okay guys, so I know you want to know this crab pot story, so I'm going to get into it. I'm going to just quick explanation and a quick sort of what happened once over. I am going to make an episode about it in the future, so I want to save most of it for that episode. I did a lot of filming at that point, got a lot of pictures, and I have a lot of like stuff to say about it. But I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. I want you to know what's going on. So as you know, my episodes are 2 weeks behind or so right now. I got behind when I was single handing because I just didn't have time to drive the boat and make the episodes. It just doesn't work out that way. Anyway, I will get caught up and I'll be real time again as quickly as I can, I promise. Anyway, so what happened was I left sort of the top of the Chesapeake and I made it to Reedy Island anchorage, and I still had about 3 hours of daylight, so I figured might as well use the 3 hours to eat up. The Delaware is 50 miles long, and the tide only runs with you for about 4 hours a day when you're on your way down. So I was like, you know what? I've got 3 hours of sunlight, and I've got tide. I'm going to go find somewhere to anchor and get the hook down before sunset. So that was probably my mistake. I should have just stopped and stayed. But anyway, so I took off down, and I followed the shipping channel. And I stayed like just at the edge of the shipping channel because that way there's usually no crab pots. Anyway, I picked one up. I didn't see it. I saw all the ones off to the side, but there was one right on the side of the shipping channel, and that drives me nuts that they're there. But anyway, I picked one up that I didn't see. It was just a matter of visibility, I guess, or single-handing, or I'm an idiot, or I don't know. But anyway, it was like bang, 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 bang in the prop. I had the jib out, and I had the engine going at about half throttle, and I was doing 7.5 or so knots, and just making a few miles before sunset. And anyway, there wasn't enough wind to sail, but it bang, 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 bang. So I was like, oh no. So I put it in reverse. I feathered it back and forth, thinking maybe I can unwind it. I did all the normal things that you would expect somebody to do when that happens. And it wouldn't unhook. I still had a little bit of propulsion, but not much. So I shut the engine down. I was like, there's no point doing damage. I've got 5 knots of wind. I can sail into a safe place. So I turned off the channel and I went straight inland about 500 yards off the channel. There are ocean-going shipping freighters constantly back and forth next to me. So I wanted to be far away from the channel. Anyway, so I sailed up, dodged a few more crab pots, no problem. And then I rolled the jib up and I went up front. I dropped the hook just as sort of, as I was far enough from the shipping channel, I felt safe. So I dropped the hook and then I started messing with it. I went in the water. I messed with it in the water. I posted on YouTube a couple times as it went dark. And then, you know, I couldn't get it undone. It was I tried cutting it with a knife. It's actually a steel cord line. It's like Dyneema or Spectra. It's not just a rope. I don't know why these guys are using steel cord line, but such is the case. So the boat is bouncing up and down pretty violently. So I can't stay under it very long or it's going to hit me in the head. I've got big tide coming and pushing me. It just became downright dangerous. So I got back in the boat. I got settled, calmed my nerves, and I noticed I was starting to drag. So here's a little clip of this is me anchored, and then you can see throughout this entire clip I start moving. I'm doing 0 knots, and then all of a sudden I start moving, and I'm sort of dragging back up in between the shipping channel and the land, and reaching like a 1.5 knots at some point. So I am dragging. That anchor is no longer holding. So I called towboat, or Sea-Tow, sorry, Sea-Tow, and Sea-Tow got there about 3:30 in the morning. Thank goodness he got there because I was dragging and who knows where I would have ended up. And I was trying to pull the anchor up and reset it, and I couldn't pull the anchor up, and I have no motor to help me. So he got there just in time. You can see we go right to 0 knots. Then that's when he gets there. He sistered his boat up to me and helped me drive forward so I could pull the anchor. And with the anchor about halfway up, there was another crab pot wrapped around the anchor. And then 10 feet after that on the anchor chain, another crab pot. So in the process of swinging on the anchor earlier in the night, I had picked up 2 more crab pots. So now I've got 1 on the prop and 2 on the anchor. I had to use bolt cutters to cut the ones off the anchor chain, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without somebody pushing me forward. Some people asked why I didn't launch the dinghy. In those ocean freighter wakes, they're 6 to 8 foot wakes. Lady K would have crushed that dinghy, or the dinghy would have been swamped. It just was not safe to try to even be on deck to launch the dinghy. Was a no-no. So I didn't feel safe. It definitely wasn't a safe situation. I think I made the right call. And we finally got everything cut free, so there's 3 less crab pots out there for you guys to hit, but got them all cut free. And then he sister towed me all the way up to Delaware City, some 12 miles. All in cost for that, he was really nice. It's $3.50 an hour. I had originally called and they said, well, we'll send a diver, and it was, I worked out the math for the diver. It was going to be almost $6 grand. So I was like, no. Just tow me somewhere. Can you just tow me somewhere and I'll deal with it at $3.50 an hour. He was with me for 6 or 7 hours. He only charged me for 4. So it was $1,400 for the tow. And then I spent about $480 at the marina for the emergency haul out. I tore the thing off the prop and all that, bolt cutters, and they washed the bottom. I figured you might as well wash the bottom while you're out. They washed the bottom, scraped the barnacles. There's 9 months worth of growth, right? Wasn't too bad, but they got it all taken care of. So it was still a $2,000 incident that I couldn't afford. I want to send a special thank you. I got a couple of one-time donations on PayPal. David, Vaughn, Patrick, Jennifer, and Mark. You guys were a huge help. It helps offset the cost of sort of emergencies like this. I would never ask you guys for money or ask you to help me when I make a mistake or I screw up or anything. The only thing I ask is if you find this stuff entertaining that I'm doing or you're learning from it, consider becoming a patron. It helps keep me going, and it helps keep, you know, diesel in the tank and make repairs to the boat and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in helping, there's a one-time donate button at ladyksailing.com, or you could become a patron. But you don't have to, not asking for anything, just as long as you're watching and interacting with me, that's fantastic. But I definitely want to thank you guys that sent a couple bucks. Jennifer especially, just you really helped offset the cost. But I'm in much better spirits now, sailing again solo, and I've got new crew coming in today, so stay with me. I will see you guys for next week's episode, which will be 67. So wow, we're getting up there. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you like the stuff, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you like it, and I'll see you guys in a week. Bye.